You're listening to The Moose and the Loose, your 10 minutes action-packed financial podcast with your host, Mikey Hu. Hey, what's up, Market Moose? Mike from The Moose and the Loose. I hope you're doing well on this Thursday. The voice is not perfect today. Not too sure why, because I'm feeling good, but I don't know. So we're going to talk about having a 4% yield at retirement. Would it be the perfect portfolio? You know, it's kind of like getting close to that 4% rule, which is not the perfect, but would work in most portfolios in most cases throughout most market fluctuations. If you withdraw 4% of your portfolio and you index that with inflation, of course, you should be okay to not deplete your portfolio. And of course, from time to time, it's not perfect. So sometimes it would not work, but just a global idea. Actually, probably the ideal portfolio would be around like 3% yield, but just for the sake of like, can we build that 4% yield portfolio at retirement? Is it safe enough? Is it working? Because the dream would be that, right? The dream would be to never touch your capital and live off your dividend forever. This is a nice idea. I really like the idea, but I know it's not perfect. I mean, even just from a financial planning point of view, the 4% rule, as I just said, is not working 100% of the time. So if you just blind yourself and think, oh, I'm just going to buy stocks with a yield above 4% and I'm going to be golden, well, that's going to be tough. And this is the exercise that I tried to do this week using the DSR stock screener. So what I did just for fun, and I did not put like much metrics because I really wanted to see like what would be the global scope of my research. And so what I did is I selected companies that at least grew their dividend, because the point is to maintain that 4% and making sure that you beat inflation. So the dividend growth has to be positive. So the ratings that I put in the DSR screener was a rating of 3 for the pro rating. So a decent business model, decent numbers, and then 3 for the dividend safety score as well. So basically, anything above 2 means that the company is able to increase its dividend. Maybe it's like 2-3% a year, but at least it's that, right? And then I put a minimum yield of 4% just to see if it was feasible. Well, I was a bit disappointed, actually, my friend. So on the Canadian market, I found 64 companies. And then you're going to tell me about, Mike, 64, that's more than enough to build a portfolio. Yeah, fair enough. A good portfolio, the idea would be like 20 to 30 stocks, right? So 64, that's great. But then when you look at the sectors, well, of course, we are in Canada. Sectors is quite limited. So among those 64 stocks, I found 16 energy stocks and 13 financials. So already there you have almost half of all the companies, which is quite representative of like the TSX in general, that would fit the bill. So investing in 2 sectors, that's not working. And then you have another 7 stocks in utilities, which are like the Brookfield and stuff. So again, now you have like almost 60% of your portfolio that will be invested in three sectors. That's not a great diversification. Even worse, if I increase the pro rating from 3 to 4, I went from 64 stocks to 19. So definitely not enough to build a portfolio. So I thought, all right, so I could add the US stocks, of course. And I was a bit disappointed because yes, I had like more than 100 stocks that would qualify on the US side, but a lot of energy and financial stocks as well. So you would have to narrow it down, because I mean it makes no point to buy like 5 banks, 3 insurance companies, and then 5 pipelines and 4 vertically integrated energy companies, right? So that would not necessarily be sustainable if there's any problem in those sectors. So what I did is I tried to build that portfolio with that 4% yield in mind, trying to find like about 25 stocks. And again, that was rough. So imagine that like for the energy sector, I would pick companies like Enbridge or TC Energy, and then CNQ, or of course, because Canadian Natural Resources is a pretty solid one. On the US side, I could have gone for with Chevron, for example, EPD Enterprise. That's a limited partner, so that would be, again, maybe would have to do a little bit more research on this one, but that would be the energy portfolio. Would not be that bad. On the financial side, well, I would go for a mix of banks and life insurance companies. So you have like Great West, Man Life, Sun Life. So you pick one or two out of those. Among banks, you have like TD, CIBC, BMO. So again, maybe like 2, 3 for each. So you have kind of like a core. There are a few interesting REITs. You have CT REITs, Canadian Tire REITs. So you know this one for a while. VICI property on the US side with either realty income or triple N REITs that are they are triple net leases REITs. So that could be interesting. VC Properties focuses on the gaming industry and casinos, so very long-term contract there. So that could be interesting as well. Granite, not performing, but increasing its dividend every single year. So that would be another one. So we have like our REITs that would be there. Among utilities, well, you have a lot of choices as well. The Brookfields, of course, Brookfield Renewables, Brookfield Infrastructure. Then you could add like either Emera or Capital Power. So we do have a few more choices around there for the utility business. So that's great. But then when you're trying to look at consumers, well, you will find like Pepsi and Canadian Tire. So one in consumer staples, one in consumer discretionary. That's almost about that. So not too many. Then you can go a little bit more like riskier in the sense that companies that have not performed that well. You have like General Mills, Altria, Target, a little bit more on the US side on that part, Magna International, but again, shaky financials, so not exactly the. I don't know. I don't think I would sleep super well with those kind of stocks in my portfolio for the very long run. I used to really like Magna International. The narrative is there, but unfortunately, it's not just reporting numbers on a consistent basis. So the earnings is always all over the place. The companies has problem with margins. So, it's not perfect. In materials, I kind of like Labrador iron ore LIF. I've discussed that on the show. That is a good one. The dividend fluctuates, not always increasing. It's actually going up and down according to the iron price. You could have like one or two stocks in your portfolio like this, but not too many because you want to like keep it consistent. Then you have TELUS. That could be interesting. They got great numbers, great earnings last week. I just reported them on the Moose as well. Another dividend increase. So that could be interesting. And then maybe like Aecon Group, like a small cap in the industrial sector, construction business. Again, you're adding a little bit more risk there. So as you can see, actually, it's kind of funny because when I look at this entire list, I don't have many of those in my portfolio. I do have like Brookfield, Renewable and Infrastructure. I have like CNQ, Canadian Natural Resources. I have TELUS in my Smith Manaver, I think I have like entire, but I mean, it's like not even $1,000, so it's not much. And I have Granite, so it's. Sorry, guys. The Moose actually disagree with that portfolio, as you can tell. So you have to take some risks. I don't have that many stocks in those because I prefer companies with like a higher level of quality, a higher level of dividend increases, and between you and me, I don't think it's the perfect portfolio. I think the perfect portfolio will be based on quality instead of quantity. So instead of like focusing on the yield, I focus on the dividend perspective. So the dividend growth perspective, I think would be a better approach. And as I grow older, I have no wishes to increase the yield necessarily. I'm just going to buy whatever stocks I like that have a robust business model and robust financial metrics. But that's just me. That doesn't mean that has to be you, but I just wanted to do the overall here. Not exactly sure it would be perfect. And actually the most important component when you're thinking about your retirement is not your portfolio. I know it's counterintuitive, but it's not how you manage your portfolio. You could like go for like simple index investing and that would just work fine. What is really important in retirement is that you build your plan and you get in control of whatever is going to happen. So you know where to withdraw the money, you know when to take CPP and OAS, you know the impact of taking it younger or delaying CPP and OAS. And to help you understand the levers you have at retirement, I have a webinar next week about 6 retirement upgrades that you can do to pay less fees, pay less taxes, and spend more money and still be okay, making sure that you have enough to retire. So you can register for free at retirementloop.ca/webinar. So retirementloop, that's LOOP.ca/webinar. So it's going to be next Thursday in a week from now. And if you register, you're going to receive the free replay as usual. So retirementloop.ca/webinar. Going to see you there. And we're going to talk again tomorrow. So don't forget to stay invested.
Hey, welcome to the disclaimer. If you're listening to The Moose and the Loose, you cannot really expect me to give you buy or sell recommendation or financial advice, right? You're here for fun, you're here for information and some entertainment. But I am not your financial advisor, I am not your broker, so therefore I'm not liable if you're losing money after listening to the podcast. If you're looking for some advice, go see a professional. If not, you can enjoy the show and do your due diligence after it.